The grand ballroom of the Washington Liberty Hotel shimmered under the golden chandeliers as the American Honor Gala commenced. It was an annual event dedicated to celebrating veterans, first responders, and individuals committed to serving their country. Among the honored guests that evening were two extraordinary women from entirely different spheres: Karoline Leavitt, a young and bold politician known for her unwavering patriotism, and Caitlin Clark, a basketball icon who had used her platform to support military families and honor fallen heroes. Though they hailed from different worlds, they were united by their deep love for their country and the values they held dear. As the ceremony began, the national anthem echoed through the hall. The audience rose to their feet in respect, their hands placed solemnly over their hearts. In the front row, Karoline clutched a folded American flag, one that had been presented to her family upon the passing of her grandfather, a World War II veteran. On stage, Caitlin stood tall, wearing a jacket embroidered with the words "Honor the Fallen," a tribute to those who had given their lives in service to the nation. However, the solemnity of the moment was disrupted when a well-known journalist, known for his provocative takes, questioned the significance of their actions. He challenged the need for such symbols, arguing that they represented an outdated and divisive form of patriotism. His words sliced through the air, leaving a charged silence in their wake as attendees exchanged glances, waiting to see how Karoline and Caitlin would respond. Karoline was the first to react. Rising from her seat, she held the folded flag firmly in her hands and addressed the room. Her voice was steady, unwavering. "This flag is not a political statement," she declared. "It is a symbol of sacrifice, duty, and freedom. Patriotism is not about exclusion. It is the very foundation that allows open dialogue and unity. Without the sacrifices of those who came before us, none of us would have the liberty to stand here and debate what it means." The journalist, unshaken by her words, pressed further. He suggested that such displays did more harm than good, reinforcing division rather than unity. But Karoline remained resolute. "The issue is not the symbols themselves," she countered. "The issue is how society has been taught to perceive them. Respect for those who gave their lives is not an act of division. It is an act of remembrance." Caitlin, who had remained silent until now, took a deep breath and stepped forward. She knew the risks. She had sponsorships, endorsements, and a carefully built career that could all be jeopardized by taking a stand. But she also knew that silence was not an option. "Basketball has given me a platform," she said, "but the freedoms that allow me to play, to inspire young athletes, to speak my mind, those freedoms were paid for by the sacrifices of our military and first responders. Wearing this jacket isn't about politics. It's about gratitude. Honoring. The past doesn't mean ignoring the struggles of the present. It means understanding how they are connected, so we can build a better future." A murmur rippled through the crowd. Some nodded in agreement, others whispered amongst themselves. The room was divided. Some clapped, others remained seated in quiet disapproval. Then, a decorated veteran, another honoree of the night, stood up. His uniform bore the insignia of multiple deployments, and his voice, though aged, carried the weight of lived experience. "I've fought alongside men and women who never made it home," he said, his voice steady but emotional. "When I see young Americans like these two stand up for what they believe in, it gives me hope, not division." His words resonated. Slowly, others rose to their feet one by one until a standing ovation filled the room. Not everyone joined, but the moment had been seized. The cameras captured it all, and within hours, the debate had exploded across social media and news outlets. The aftermath was immediate. News channels dissected the moment. Some hailed Karoline and Caitlin as brave defenders of their values, while others accused them of being reckless and polarizing. Social media became a battleground. Veterans, military families, and everyday citizens flooded the internet with stories about what the flag and the phrase "Honor the Fallen" meant to them. Yet, there was also backlash. Some of Caitlin's sponsors reconsidered their partnerships, while Karoline faced political figures distancing themselves from the controversy. The pressure mounted. Caitlin's agent urged her to release a neutral statement to protect her endorsements. Karoline's advisors suggested issuing a carefully worded apology to quell the political storm, but both women refused to back down. To them, this was no longer about symbols or patriotism. It was about control, about the media's power to shape narratives. Then, the unexpected happened. Public sentiment began to shift. Veterans groups and athletes from various sports voiced their support, and a viral video montage compared their stance to historical moments where American leaders had taken bold stands for their beliefs. The tipping point came when a retired four-star general spoke on live television, condemning the idea that honoring sacrifices should ever be controversial. Respecting those who gave their lives for this country is not a partisan issue. It is an American issue, he stated. His words struck a chord. The conversation changed. In the days that followed, both Karoline and Caitlin received an outpouring of support. What had begun as a moment of controversy had transformed into a national dialogue about the meaning of patriotism in modern America. And as they stood together, unshaken by the storm they had weathered, they knew they had done something that mattered, not just for themselves, but for the countless voices who believed in the values they had chosen to defend.